Hey guys, what's up? Clappy1984 here. Now what I want to do today is talk to you about my favourite game mode in the Aftermath DLC. Obviously I've spent a lot of time on it. I dread to think how many hours I've put into it now. But I managed to play every game mode and I have had a lot of fun on all of them. But there's just one for me that sticks out as the most exciting, exhilarating and the most tactical and just a lot of fun. Just something that, you know, just has a lot of moments that are epic basically. So anyway, just to give you an overhead, I'm primarily a Conquest player in Battlefield. Most of my time's been spent on Conquest. My three favourite maps, Seine Crossing, Grand Bazaar, Operation Metro, all Conquest maps, you know. That's my favourite, that's my go-to, that's my bread and butter. But anyway, basically, as you have probably noticed, I am playing Rush. Now for me there is something about Rush in Aftermath that just makes it more exciting played on these four sets of maps than anything else at all. Now I'll put this down to several reasons, so what I want to do today is basically just run them past you, and as always I want you to get back to me in the comment section down below. Let me know what your favourite game mode is, whether you find Rush more appealing on Aftermath than you do any of the other maps. So let's crack on, let's get on with the nitty gritty. So the first thing to take into consideration is obviously Aftermath is an infantry based DLC. It focuses heavily on the infantry play with lots of flank routes, lots of places for you to sort of have standoffs, choke points and power positions. Now these maps are on the large side. Obviously they're not as big as the Armor Kill maps, but compared to some of the other bigger maps in the game, or the biggest maps in the game apart from Armor Kill, they are pretty damn big. They resemble the car cam maps, maybe a little bit bigger. And when you take into consideration on console we've only got 12 players per team, at times Conquest can seem quite empty and you can go several minutes without seeing anyone, and it just seems a lot of running about capping flags, running around capping flags. For me, Rush is designed to push people into choke points and for defenders to hold up in power positions and stop the attacking forces from advancing. These maps are designed perfect for these long to mid-range battles and standoffs with several players at a time. Right from the word go, you really don't have to go looking for trouble. If you're attacking, you are forced to advance up some choke points pretty early on, and obviously you want to try and get that done before the defending team have managed to lock down their power positions. For me, they have absolutely perfectly captured the essence of infantry style play on Rush on the Aftermath DLC. Like I mentioned, Conquest is a lot of fun. It just seems a lot slower paced, and me, who I class myself as an infantry style player, definitely find this a lot more exciting and exhilarating than Conquest. Now as far as I'm concerned, if you do want to be successful at Rush, get lots of wins, get loads of kills and just generally have a hell of a lot of fun, teamwork is absolutely pivotal. As we all know, there are lots of flank routes in Aftermath. There are several on every map and it is hard, you cannot cover them all by yourself. So if you are in a squad or in a team communicating with each other, you can have a hell of a lot of fun and get really tactical and geeky, if that's what you're into, sort of thing, by making sure you're locking down all flank routes, every entrance, every exit, any place they can come from, you're covering it and you're keeping communications nice and tight. Now there is one thing I'd like to actually congratulate DICE on, and something I really have not seen a lot of, and that's spawn trapping. Now I'll put this down to the design of the maps. Obviously there's lots of flank routes out of the spawn, and this is something that I'm glad they've done. Obviously in public matches no one likes to be spawn trapped, it is irritating and it causes a lot of the enemy team, or your team if you are the ones being spawn trapped, to leave, and that's just making the game no fun. So I think they've designed these maps incredibly well to not allow that to happen as such. What I mean as such is the only way I think you can generally get proper spawn trapped on here is if you're playing against a team that have got really tight comms. So if you walk into 6, 7 or 8 guys all communicating, there is a chance you could possibly get spawn trapped, I guess, but so far the map design's perfect. So that leaves one more thing for me to cover, and that's the vehicles. As you can see in the top left hand corner we've got some little bird footage where the main footage is in a main battle tank. Now I think they got the balance of the vehicles on Rush absolutely spot on. For instance, if you want to be effective in the little bird against infantry, you have to be an incredible pilot. The built up nature of these maps means you will be swooping in and out of very tight confined spaces, and to do that and engage infantry at the same time, one, is very risky, and two, like I said, you need to be very skilled. So what you tend to see is they take on each other and armour rather than getting involved with the infantry. Obviously you also have the main battle tanks, as we can see now. These are highly effective bits of kit. You tend to see them mostly going against armour obviously, and you can pick up some very cool, very strong power positions against armour in these maps. The only thing is, I find if you want to be effective in taking out infantry in your tank, you're going to put yourself into some positions of getting into trouble, and it won't last too long. You need to be constantly moving and not hanging around. I'm yet to see a tank in the Aftermath DLC that is able to dominate a whole entire game, similar to as you would in some of the other maps on Battlefield 3. What I do like though is the fact that you can roll up if you're attacking up to a set of MCOMs. You're able to hold off the defenders long enough for your teammates to get the arm, especially if you're using teamwork. It works absolutely perfect. So the tanks can be incredibly effective, but at the same time you are going to put your tank into a position of danger, and there is always plenty of enemy waiting to take you out. So like I said, you're best off, in my view, just sticking to the armour with the tanks. Don't get involved too heavily with the infantry, because eventually you're going to be drawn into a fight that you can't win. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Clappy and I'm out.